Hi guys. We're here today in the European Forum Alpbach, wonderful place, beautiful weather. We want to discuss TTIP again, so the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. But this time we do not want to discuss about TTIP in terms of ISDS or consumer protection regulation. We really want to take another angle, take a different perspective, and want to know what does it mean for third-party countries, so particularly for emerging markets or for developing countries. So first of all, let's have a look at the facts.
First of all, it's pretty clear that such an agreement will certainly have political as well as economic effects on third-party countries, as we're talking here about the big guys. The US and EU together generate 45% of global GDP. Together, the two comprise 30% of the global export market, and 30% of all third-party countries earn more than 50% of their export revenues from the US and the EU. All right, does the size of the national economy and its international trade network speak for themselves? But the question remains of how that impact and the resulting economic effects will specifically manifest. If TTIP happens, we will see different types of positive and negative economic effects for third parties. On the one hand, there are trade diversion effects, which will primarily have a negative impact on third-party countries. Since this is a preferential trade agreement that eliminates tariffs, export restrictions, and non-tariff trade barriers, many products from TTIP partners nations will be less expensive compared to the same products from third-party countries. Therefore, these non-member countries will lose market share in the EU or in the US. On the other hand, there are anticipated demand effects that could have a positive economic impact for third-party states. Due to this effect, stronger production and growth in TTIP countries could also lead to increased demand for export goods from third-party nations, especially for raw materials, intermediate products, and goods that are not produced in TTIP states. In addition to these effects, some calculations also include so-called spillover effects, which could have a favorable impact on third-party countries as well. The assumption here is that the regulatory collaboration between the EU and the USA, particularly with standards for products and services, could also result in reduced trade costs for third-party nations if they adopt the new standards. However, the actual occurrence of such spillover effects is not a given and has not been reliably proven on an empirical basis. In addition, high standards can also cause discrimination against developing nations. For that reason, if we first take a look only at calculations that attempt to forecast potential trade diversion and demand effects from TTIP without potential spillover effects, we see that, we actually do not see pretty much. It turns out that economic welfare effects for third-party countries will be rather low, ranging between -1% and +2% over a period of 10 to 20 years. So even if we assume that a deep TTIP agreement is in place. But third-party country effects differ, and some countries could lose more than others. So we see, for example, some bigger losers in Southeast Asia than in other regions. However, potential welfare losses in emerging economies are rather small compared to their annual growth rates of around 3 to 4% on average, as you can see it pretty nicely in this chart. There are several reasons why some third-party countries lose more than others. One particular is, of course, the specific export structure of the country. Another essential one is its degree of integration in the transatlantic value chain. But what happens if the spillover processes in question actually emerge? In this case, some calculations show that practically all negative trade diversion effects would be compensated for. Therefore, third-party nations would experience virtually no welfare losses due to the TTIP. So everyone a winner, baby? Well, as mentioned above, the actual occurrence of such spillover effects is very controversial and has not been empirically proven with any reliability. Nevertheless, we can and should mull over political measures that could promote spillover effects.
And this is what we want to discuss at the European Forum Alpbach in our high-level discussion with top-class experts. So just follow us on Twitter, because we will Twitter live, or just watch the next video in which we will try to summarize the top policy options and the results of the discussion. So see you around, guys. Bye.